Hello fans of Marvel Heroes and friends of my channel, welcome to another Q&A where I play the game and answer some of the questions. But before I go there, just a big thank you for all your warm wishes for the Christmas and the New Year. And also a big thanks to Shade of Pain for the fortune card, and also Silver Maiden for this really wonderful costume. Kitty Pryde's costume. I think I'll just prestige her to the next level to just make use of the costume and play more about Kitty Pryde. Thank you so much. And I mean, if you have some requests on the special requests I can do for you, let me know. Luke Cage video or Daredevil. Well, okay. So anyway, so thank you. And as for Shade of Pain, I think we talk about the access rate over online. Then don't be discouraged if your gear doesn't seem to be accepted by the looking for group. I'm very sure that that there are friends out there who's happy to just bring people into the access, and who knows if my super group actually go there and access next time, then I'll give you a call as well. I mean, let's see. I mean, we are not pros when it comes to access, but all here to have fun. All right, so now before it's going to be quite an interesting episode. I have a lot of things lined up for you guys, and I would like to just round up some of the topics, what I'll be doing, so you have something to anticipate for what is to come. I'm going to talk about the leveling magic because I think while magic is not really ready for end game, in the sense that if you are not 100% invested into full melee, you still would like to play some kind of summoner mode, you probably would be have to wait for a while. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to play magic right now, because I think of all the heroes I have, of all the Marvel, the heroes that this game has offered, I have tremendous fun leveling magic, and especially in situation like this Midtown, I'm using a summoner card build. I'm going to share with you this build as well. But before I talk about magic, I think magic will take a while to talk about. One of my favorite heroes in the game, and in comic book as well. I'm going to also talk about the rings, because I think a lot of you have asked me about the advice on the ring, and I know I'm going to build a video, and I promise I will. But before I get there, I'll probably throw you some of the conclusions, so you don't have to wait until the guide comes out to make your decision when it comes to certain when you have all these like danger room kind of thing, reward, merit, shall you or shall you not do a ring kind of thing. So I'll answer that, and also I'll answer things like a lot of questions these days from new player with regard to the costume affixes and also legendary. So I'm going to repeat. I know a lot of you have watched a lot of my video. I really thank you all for the patience, and and also give the feedback on things that work, things that may not work, and stuff like that. I really appreciate all this feedback. So I'm going to just for our new player, a little bit of like guidance on the on those affixes and so on. And also I think when it comes to magic, I do have some idea of how to improve her, and I've also written in the forum as well. So but I thought I share with you some ideas here as well. Who knows, this idea may come true in soon to come. All right, and also last but not the least, I think a lot of people are very excited about the Black Cat thingy, and I'm also very excited about Black Cat. And let's speculate. Let's play a game, right? Speculate what is going to be her ability and so on. So okay, so with that said, let's talk about magic first. Now, for those who have been away from this game for a while, maybe you have been away for a year or two and so on. If you are a Magic fan, very, very happy news for you. She's live, officially launched since 1 hero ago. So after Magic is Iron Fist, and after Iron Fist will be Black Cat soon. So Magic has been around for like more than a month, and the unfortunate thing is that I think some of us who have the expectation that Magic can be a summoner will probably a little bit disappointed by the fact that it is just not performing at that level people expect. We are talking about really, really low kind of like DPS if you go for the summoner, even more so if you go for the range summoner. Now, of course, sometimes you have to, in retrospect, think about should you even do something like a summoner for Magic, because like Luke Cage, for example, or even Colossus has I think Colossus also has a summon tag power, but doesn't mean that they are for to be spec a summon, right? So, but then, if you look at Magik, there's one entire tree on summon. Also, the range power is supposed to be buffed by summon. All the indicators shows that Magik could well be a very strong summoner hero. But in reality, it's not. For whatever reason, I do not know, but it's not. So, I mean, you could wait until Magik get fixed first, but you could also, like me, I actually enjoy a lot. I mean, I've been playing. This is my I think close to the last prestige, and I've been playing different build as well. So, melee summon, range summon. I think that by the way, boss wave usually lag really badly in my because right now the Midtown Manhattan is having some kind of snow effect, and that kind of dragged down the whole latency to I think I'm experiencing like 40,000 ms on millisecond on the ping. So bear with me if this one lags a fair bit. But I think what I'm trying to say is that in this game we always see things that are not right, but sometimes we have to do the right thing as well. Because giving an example, right? When Legendary Grade 70 was first launched. The only thing great was really good news, but of course now it's still good news. It's probably one of the best if you are talking about non-summoner and non-hybrid. But they actually brought the level between like various like Excelsior, Excalibur for melee, or Warlock side for mental. They actually brought it very close. So I always strongly believe that given time, they would do the right thing. So if you gear for the right thing, like if you are committed to say a summoner, I don't think it is a wrong approach. It's just that right now you don't see any fruition coming out. Now, so with that said, does it mean that you don't sort of like go for summoner? It's not really, because for leveling, as you see, this build is probably called collect ops till you drop kind of build. It's very strong when it comes to ranged summon, or even melee summon. I've tried melee summoner, it's not just as strong. So now, so that's why I'd like to share with you her build here, and some of these tips that after prestiging her so many times and just one last round to raid, and something that I could sort of like share with you on this wonderful collect ops till you drop kind of build. Alright, so now if you notice, I'm using a spender called Spirit Fan, which is over here. Now it is not at all obvious because the I think a lot of time you may want to toggle on one of these toggle to make her stronger, but and sort of like and you lose the kind of you make it as a cooldown instead of like spammable power. But the great thing about Spirit Fan, by the way, is because it has a really nice fan shape that really hits a lot. It hits like a quarter of the screen by just aiming at random targets. I mean, you're not even like some of this. You're not even targeting anything, just by random, and it's hitting tremendous amount of targets. So I while Spirit Fan, right now, I'm hoping they will change it, but right now it's not really a fantastic power. I mean, by the way, if you look at Spirit Fan, right, it's supposed to buff by the summon ally damage. So why this one fails, why the range build fails, also all these numbers are too small, I think, in my opinion. This number is just too small. But if you use it as a main spender, it's actually very nice. Now, the only caution is that during low level, it's actually very hard to. It's a little bit harder to maintain spirit, because you won't be able to recuperate spirit fast enough. But then the good news is that once you hit level 20, when you have this Seer Brilliance, when you collect ops, you gain spirit will never be an issue. Well, it's very seldom, unless it's some really long boss fight. And what do? Don't do anything, because your summon is doing a lot of stuff for you. You don't really need to work that hard for the for Spirit Return or DPS at all at leveling point of view. So try it. Try Spirit Fan as the main spender, and all these things are just like like whatever you click, wherever you click, it's just like collect ops. I mean, that's it, right? I mean, basically the whole build just like spamming some DOT damage over time, some here and there, and just collect ops. And you have more than enough ops to collect. You can't even collect them all in reality. So that is really, really fun. I mean, to me, it's really fun level. That's why I've been leveling her for so many times. I mean, I'm just like going everywhere collecting ops, right? and then wait until my signature is up, then you just do a signature that really blasts off everything else. So Magik is really fun when you pick the Spirit fans. Now the next one I'd like to recommend to you is the Vampiric Incantation, and this one is a beautiful power. I mean, it has vulnerability, it has slow, it has like all the jazz to it, and guess what? The damage over time is actually pretty decent. It's actually very decent when it comes to damage over time. So, and the beauty of it is that you could actually turn the specialization to make it as a passive, that whenever you hit some power, it will apply to it. And then what do you use it for? You use it for confuse. Because right now, I can actually use this guy, this Vampiric Incantation, to confuse all the mobs. And let me just get to the boss part first while I'm talking. You can use it to confuse all the mobs around to kill each other instead of like hitting you. And a good thing about it is that this specialization here, the confuse, of course it won't work on boss. That was the good old time of Scarlet Witch, for those who are old-timer enough to understand what I'm saying. But it doesn't confuse the boss, but that's sufficient. The loose mob will kill each other as well as suffering a really high damage over time. And and you don't really need to do a lot of stuff like just spread all these like confuse, and they'll just take care of themselves. It is a powerful damage over time layer. They would start to kill themselves, and you just collect ops till you drop, right? So that's the whole essence of this whole leveling build is to do that, right? So now with that said, then when it comes to demon wise, if you work out a DPS, I mean right now things are still in in the flux right now. We do not know what kind of improvement Garcillian will or will not do for Magik. Although I don't really see a lot of people begging for change. Like I don't know where are all the Magik fans out there in the forum. I remember some. When they did a lousy job, not lousy. I mean, when they did a job not okay. When people are fighting for improvement for like Jean or for even Loki, the forum was full of noise back then, and it was like and they have to do something about it. But I think for Magik somehow it doesn't really generate as much noise as it is. Although everybody acknowledged that the summoner build is not quite there, but maybe people are just happy with just the single melee build, which I think is a bit sad, right? Because I think as Magik, I would like to play her with a lot of demons. So the next topic is really about demon. Now, demon wise, if I went through all numbers, and if you really only care about the damage itself, the lesser demon is the best one. If you convert the command, because you have only 8 command points, the big demon like this guy Feast of how do I pronounce this one? Help me out here, guys. And this one is called Feast of an Artish. I don't know. So if you talk about the big demon, it consumes 5 command, and if you talk about the small lesser demon, it consumes about 1 per each one. So I could have 1 big one and 3 small one. All right. So but if you look at DPS, the small one is the highest. The small one is the highest damage. 1, 2, 3 of them. All right. These are 3 demons plus the big one. All right. So that uses up all your command. So the small one is the highest damage if you play a summoner mode, and I mean it does make sense because the big one does the taunts as well, and with the taunt on, you really don't need to worry too much about anything. I mean it has a 5-second taunt, 8-second cooldown, so I would say it's a good trade-off, even though the PBS is a little bit lesser, and even though compared to the other big dragon, the one with the wings, not the Feast but the Tish. All right. So compared to that one, that one always hit target, right? Because that one is arranged. But as a range hero, as a range melee, I think the right choice is really to use the Feast. And but I mean the Feast is actually pretty decent. It has its own bugs here and there, meaning that sometimes they don't really hit the right stuff and so on. Sometimes it's too far away. And but then it has a taunt. So I would recommend, for leveling point of view, just use 3 less demon and 1 of the feast as well. And by the way, it's fantastically wonderful to look at him in action. I mean, you may not see what the lesser demons are doing, but you can't miss what the feast is doing, right? I mean, that's the one thing I would highly recommend to you all when it comes to the feast itself. Now, in the next boss round, I'm going to use the ultimate. I think Magik's ultimate is really one of the most fantastic one that I've ever seen. For those who have played Diablo 3, she turned into like a Diablo, right? I always thought that Diablo is a girl in a sense. I mean, when they changed the Diablo from Diablo 3, I mean, it's kind of slim and with the whatever it is. So, but or those who like to play like Warlock in World of Warcraft, I mean, she does remind me of that. So I'm going in and I'm going to use the ultimate because I can. And then after that, look at her ultimate. It's like, oh my god, look at that, man. Yeah, I need to run away first, and I can do my stuff and do a lot of damage, right? I mean, she's like, oh, totally awesome. This is exactly something I've been asking for in years ago when they asked like, what would you like to see Magik? I mean, so long as Magik has her demonic side to it, I'm really happy. I mean, I read the Cosmic when and I think there was Storm in old age. I think Storm was dying, and Magik was like like being controlled by the demons in Limbo, and she would turn into kind of demonic form, and this is very faithful to the whole comic book. I mean, for someone who has read the comic to see her turn to a demon even at that ultimate moment, I mean, it means a lot. It means a lot to me. So I mean, that's also another fantastic way to really just level up the just prestige kind of like Magik and to see all these things in action. So I hope the answer, like what kind of power to use when it comes to demon wise. I mean, these are the power that I would I would really recommend. Let me just head to somewhere to just open some of these chairs while I continue to talk about the. I always say that I wish there's a button that just opened up all chests instead of clicking through all these things here. All right, so okay, level 53, useless stuff. All right. So let me just continue to loot and to talk about. Okay, this is actually not a bad core. Oh, by the way, the winter event is actually one of the best events I've ever played. I mean, so far, not the best, but it's one of the best in recent time because I get to loot the Omega Point, Odin Mark. Yes, Omega Point I'm max already. I got to loot the Odin Mark every so often. I got to get the insignia. I've got to get a core, and by the way, I've got like 2 bifactor core, and to me it's a big deal because I play so long. I play so many times. I never ever seen a bifactor core, that one with the invulnerable plus the. Usually those are being donated by all the friends in YouTube and so on. They donated some to me, and I mean that is I love this event. So anyway, back to Magik. So that is a stuff that I would like to recommend. And the other thing I recommend is a Bone Wall. Now, Bone Wall may not be a very obvious choice, but I'll show you later. Bone Wall is actually pretty cool. I use it to pass your Cosmic Gate very nicely. This is a wall. You can summon as many as you like. And the great thing about Bone Wall is that it stops some of the mob from coming. It stops the projectile. So, and then it also will push the boss away. If you do it right, it will actually push the boss away. When the boss is supposed to go somewhere, it can actually push. Just now I just pushed the boss away, and it's an interrupt on its own. I mean, I can like when man-aid want to jump, I can actually deploy a Bone Wall and sort of get it all pushed away. So I like this kind of utility when it comes to playing Magik, and with all these things like in Danger Room, I usually align a few Bone Wall, even in Ultron, and I can just eat any damage that come onto me, the Ultron when they are the mini bosses and so on. I can easily eat a lot of those damages by lying a few those wall here and there, and I could actually stop them from and sometimes I can stop them from moving too fast to some place as well. So it becomes a very strategic kind of gameplay. I miss the kind of when you play Cable, you may be aware that for Cable last time you have the same as Telekinesis barrier. I think it's the same thing, but the barrier, I think there's a limit to a number of so I can deploy a wall. Sometimes it does, some of the work doesn't. But if I do it right, they actually can. You see, man, it's been trapped inside. It's kind of funky. see that happen. But you know, I mean, you know, it's nice to have an interrupt when that happens. I think there is actually a like this. I interrupted just now. He wanted to throw a sphere, right? I interrupted. So you know, in danger room environment, it becomes very very interesting now. Of course, it doesn't really. I can do it doesn't mean that I can do it all, I have to do it all the time, but it's something that I find it very interesting to play. Bone War, like I say, it may not be a very obvious choice for leveling, but I mean, I just like the fact that I am able to interrupt. I'm able to stop all the bullets from Madame Hydra, even at the Cosmic Gate. I'm able to do all these things, and I think it's a very wonderful game. And it's kind of strategic, right? It's something to think rather than just mindlessly mashing button or moving around kind of thing. So I really like that part of the power. I highly recommend it. And also, you may be aware that I have this power called this one here, the Soulbaze. I know a lot of people don't care about crowd control breaker. Now this one, if you get jailed, it actually can get you out of jail for a while. It is very useful as well. I mean, to start practicing in this map. Right now it's a winter event. There's a lot of like ice column there, and like this one, I just break jail, right? The ice column sometimes can jail you. Some of these bosses can jail you, and you could actually do all these things, and I can lay all this bone wall by the way, and just like shield all these things from happening, and yeah, I mean the CC breaker, I can even with this build, right? I mean guys, I can even put the CC breaker, the crowd control breaker, but by the way, I'm confusing the rest so that they can just deal with themselves without hitting me. So I break jail, right? So just now I got jail and I break jail. So I think it's really important gameplay to be able to get out of this thing, because by the way, all this ice thing is pretty harmful. I mean, if you are playing a boss wave and get jail, I mean, very likely you'll die. I mean, your hero may get defeated, right? So it's something that I highly recommend as well. And of course the other word, the Nova, if you max out your camera. So a lot of people ask me how to max out a camera. You go to game option and you can just change the camera view and to the maximum. You have to use a customized kind of a mode, and it hits like really the whole entire map, just go everywhere, and I love the whole animation. So that one also recommends you to max. And so I think with that said, then comes the next question, like do I use the one of the power called the Eternal Servitude? Now, Eternal Servitude is a very interesting power. I think it's also a bit, the design is not that well thought of. Sorry, Gazillion, if you are reading this, I'm just keeping it real, man. I think the design is not well thought of, in the sense that it benefits the melee summoner, but it doesn't benefit the range at all. Now, why do I say that? So with that Eternal Servitude, you could actually command one of the humanoid or biological kind of like biological kind of monster, or the mobs that is not ice golem, of course, and you can actually command them to return from limbo to fight for you. And it's a very interesting concept. It doesn't matter which. It's not like this Emma Frost, whereby the mob matter. I mean, it doesn't matter what mob it is. Basically, it is not. It is governed by the. They have a missile that coming from the mob that you summon, as well as they have the aura as well. But I mean, on paper it's fantastic, but the problem is that in reality it's not actually work for range build at all, because the mob will just stand somewhere far. If you play Iceman, you wouldn't want to summon a if you play Iceman, right, you wouldn't want to summon a range golem when you are playing range, because when you're playing range and you summon a range golem, your golem end up doing nothing and just stay where it is. Unfortunately, for Magik, there aren't such an option when it comes to what she or she can or cannot do in terms of the Eternal Servitude itself. So I would rather have the cooldown power here. So the Sorcerer's Eruption would become a cooldown if I use 1 point here instead. So I mean, that is something that I'll fully recommend you as well. All right, and and I mean, that's it, man. I mean, that is all you really need about Magik. All this point allocation. Of course, it's the the master of the Soul Sword is a very nice power. You don't need to toggle it on, because when you toggle it, you kind of like, but anyway, you do range, it doesn't really benefit from the melee power. But I mean, you know, it has a very nice passive effect, and that's it. That is all the build that you need. So you may ask, what do I do with the remaining 18 points, right? It's up to you to experiment. For me, end game, I'll just put it all under the armor, because it gives me the more defense and more deflect, and my summon will have more health. Why not? I mean, it's a good thing. There's nothing here worth putting anywhere, because even if you put Vengeful Spirit, it doesn't work. The longer you wait, the more DPS you lose. And the sad reality is that if you want to, even you're talking about this one, execute, right? You know, when you wait for 10 seconds, you guarantee a crit. But guess what? My Magik has over 60% crit chance, so I'm not really gaining so much from this power for waiting for 10 seconds for it to happen. I may as well just do it every time. I mean, if the charge was to buff the base power, yes, I agree. You know, it's good to wait for 10 seconds and do the big punch. Doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. So remaining of the 18 points, where would you like to put? This one is actually not a bad option, because you do jump a lot. The stepping disc, right? And you do jump a lot, and and why not just hit harder when you jump? So that is also one option if you are leveling and you're not sure where else to put it all right? So and also remember, when you do summoner Magik, just make sure that you invest a lot in intelligence. So my intelligence right here, before I hit something 23, but once I hit something because of the insignia, I'll actually gain +1. So this one will add +1, become 23. So why is it important? Because intelligence gives you XP bonus. All right. So if you have 23% XP bonus, why not with the 200% with the server that times 100% to it? So that becomes very substantial. So it's something that I would like to just recommend why a summoner Magik works. And by the way, I mean you may ask, like, what kind of legendary do I use? Guess what? I have 2 legendary for Magik, one for summoner, one for Gunil. But Gunil is a better result right now, because I told you summoner right now it sucks. It is. I mean, right now it's not working, so it is what it is. And as for costume core, I also have 2. One for I have 3 actually. I have 1 here. Where's the other one? Okay, the other one is where I put all my nice gear. So I need to separate. I don't mix all. This is my end game gear, by the way. So I try not to mix my end game gear with my prestige gear and then accidentally throw it away with all this gear. So I also have two stats to it. One is the very much like the crit hit, which is for summoner. Crit go to the pet. So crit damage rating doesn't go to pet. So usually a normal summoner will have like a 60-40 kind of split. 60% on summon damage, ally damage. No, sorry, 60% come from pet DPS, 40% come from hero. So if you roll something like crit damage rating, you only benefit your 40%. If you roll something like a crit, you benefit both sides, right? So for summoner, that's the strategy. But again, for Magik, it doesn't work. So it's better if you do a crit damage rating with a Gunil. But like I said in the beginning of this video, we always do the right thing when it comes to gearing, because we know that eventually this Gazillion will turn around and build the right hero for us, rather than the one that the state right now. So I'm taking in good faith that eventually they will wake up to the whole thing and say, we probably need to do something better for the people on the summoner. And I hope that they do it for both the melee as well as for range, because I don't want to be forced to play melee, because if you look at the whole power tree, it's actually very much like you can do both, right? Why not just make sure that I'm able to benefit from both sides, right? So a lot of people ask me, like, how do you actually talk while making video? Actually, it's a lot easier to play the game while I'm talking. It's a lot harder to decide what to sell and what to store while I'm talking, but I'm doing my best, right? So that is all the tips on the Magik. So I hope that sort of like I help some of you to sort of like decide what you're going to do with Magik. And I strongly recommend, and even it may not be your cup of tea right now, and you may still waiting for the big moment for it to become awesome. But I mean, looking at the build right now, looking at Magik right now for leveling, it really collect ops till you drop, man. I mean, just play it, drop all you can, play it, prestige her to red. And the good thing about prestiging is that you have 5 extra costume that you can roll at least 3 costume, you can get a random costume. So it is wonderful. All right. So now. So enough magic. I can take all the questions you want for magic offline, and I'm happy to help you out here for all you magic fans and collect ops till you drop. And the next bit is really about the rings, and I know a lot of people are asking me for the rings, like should you be using this ring or that ring? So I can tell you very honestly, the result is very interesting. If you get a really nice cosmic ring versus a very nice ICP ring versus a very nice, you will get a very nice the danger room one anyway. But the cosmic ring actually has a place. If you manage to get a nice roll, I'm talking about 3 DPS stat, because usually I have one that is on health. That's how I strategize when I collect my cosmic rings. But usually I have like 3 DPS and one you see, I can confuse these guys here. Even machine can be confused. Isn't it wonderful? Yeah. So let me do some bone wars here. Right, see, I've been pushing the manip around. So cool. All right, so I mean, don't throw away your cosmic ring, right? Take a look at that. Take a look at the roll. If your roll is good, I usually go for 3 cosmic ring, 3 DPS stat and 1 defensive stat, like either spirit or it depends on what I need. I mean, as I say to people always, gear is about closing the gap. So I hope by now you agree with me that sometimes some hero is good at crit, some hero is just not. So I'm looking at like 3. I'll share more about stats later, what stat to look out for in my ring kind of like guide. But just to share with you, don't throw all your cosmic ring away. Those are pretty good stuff if you get a high roll. And cosmic ring drops a lot, so it's one of those benefits of cosmic ring. And when it comes to the ICP is somewhat like cosmic ring. Of course, getting a nice roll is a lot harder, I would say, because the ICP ring doesn't drop a lot, and when it drop, if it's all red, what are you going to do, right? It's just as good as really not good, right? But in that regard, right, danger room, out of all these 3 types, danger room is still, I went to the wrong instance, sorry guys. Danger room is still the best ring out there, the best ring out there. Provided that you are not a movement build. If you are looking at movement build, of course, the very best would be the. If you are looking at movement build, the very best would be the midtown with the 30% damage buff, because the 30% is plus 30%. So I don't know whether you guys are aware the difference between damage rating and plus 30%. If you look at those vulnerability, whatnot, they say 10%, or some of this power say 50%. Now, what it really means, I believe, I don't really quote the whole thing, but from what I study the number itself, I believe that, you guys can verify with me, those, when they quote the percentage, is a multiplier. So the multiplier will have, they will, of course, it won't be all the multiplier line up together. But I think, I think how it works is that, you have normal power that's being modified by all this damage rating, and you have all this like a multiplier that is being modified accordingly by the, you see, I pushed manage just now by the thing. And the, so 30% on the multiplier end is actually pretty decent, I would say. So something that the only thing I don't like about the midtown ring is that it doesn't have other stuff that I'm looking for, like even health or crit, something that I may need to use to close gap, but I don't have it. So that's the only thing that I'm not that excited about the midtown ring. And I think if your hero is able to intuitively do movement damage every 4 seconds or so, please, can consider a 30% movement ring. All right, so I hope that answered the question on ring. Like I said, I will do another video later on ring to give you a more result to sort of like convince you one way or the other, and also to show you what are stat. Oh, of course, how can I forget this? The mayhem ring, the bloodstone, whatever it is, the mayhem ring. Those are really nice. Those are from Cover here. Right, Mystic Cover, they'll give you the Demon Band ring, the Bloodstone Demon Band ring. Those are just as good as the Industrial City, as good as the Cosmic. But of course, getting a good one means that you have to keep reloading. To the right stat, to the to the right kind of range. So, you know, I mean, how are you able to get the flat damage plus the crit plus the +1 fighting plus the +1 energy for your pure melee magic? I do not know. It may take a while for you to get there, even with 100 of them. So, and that's why I'm not opening any of this, because I really don't have any stash anymore. I mean, you know, if there's some useful stuff I need to keep, I don't have any more space. So they remain in my cover. So I will still say go for danger room rings. All right. So now I hope that answer a bit on the danger room, on the ring itself, and also last bit is not last bit, but another bit is really about the how should I say? Yes, the costume affixes, because a lot of you asked me about the costume affixes. So I know in a lot of guys, even on mine, would encourage you for non-summoner go for crit damage rating, for summoner go for crit. Now for summoner, there's no negotiating, because there's no other stat that can benefit both sides of your equation, which is the crit. But for non-summoner, all right. So I've done some study, and by the way, I want to do my ultimate again because it looks so cool. All right. So you know, for non-summoner, and the I would say that because rank 4 is very expensive to get. If you get a very high either crit or damage rating, or I mean, you know, if you get a very high crit, right? I think you really should keep it. Why is it? Because you know, like I said, gear is for you to close gaps. So if you have high crit anyway, your artifact can afford to go for high flat damage, like the danger kind of like you know, danger room kind of like artifact. They're very good at jailbreaking. They are very good at like a flat damage. So you could afford to go hard on the flat damage if you know that your crit component is high, and you know, stuff like that. So it is not necessarily a bad thing. And in fact, I've run through the maths on, you know, on a basket of my heroes, and the a high ranking, you know, crit damage rating, a high ranking crit, it's not going to differ that much anyway. So for me, right, because you know, I always work. You know, all this theory crafting, I know, you know, you guys, you know, like to read and share, but you know, in some way it's also for me, because I also want to know myself which one to keep. So I would say for high ranking one, like rank 4, even rank 3, if you get a high, like really like 90% or 95% or 95%, on the crit, then don't throw it away. I mean, you know, don't need to re-roll it just because it's not the absolute, you know, the one that you're looking for, which is the crit hit rating, right? So that would be my advice. And in terms of the so that conclude the whole thing about the costume affixes, or in general, I mean, gearing in a way. As for the legendary wise, I mean, you know, I know I've answered quite a fair bit. I hope I just take the time here to just reconfirm again for you all. If your hero is a hybrid, go for the grade 70 power cosmic. You know, that is really probably what's the best for your hero, and it's almost like free if you play the event, the cosmic event. If you are a summoner, for grade 70 is Trident, for grade 80 is going to be Trident, right? If you are non-summoner, grade 70 is always a good nil. It's always, I mean, I haven't seen anything that beat good nil, unless your hero's crit is so high, even without the legendary can hit 60 and above, then the nullifier would probably give you a better result. That is grade 70. But when it comes to grade 80, if you are pure, I'm talking about pure damage, right? Because you know, the moment you are a little bit hybrid, right? Usually it's 80-20 or range or melee, then you lose. You discount all this like you know, effect that you have from your legendary. Don't do that, right? So if it's a pure physical, it's going to be axe. A pure mental, it's going to be warlocks, and the pure energy is going to be a rod for grade 80. All right. So I hope that answer the question on the legendary for those of you who are new to the game. And the as far as the Magik is concerned, I mean, maybe I just wrap up the video with what I felt about Magik. And actually, like I said, I've already written in the forum how I feel about fixing her. And it's actually pretty easy. There are two options here, the way I see it. Either A, relook into all this demon thing, because I mean, this thing here is a bit wonky. I mean, the demon that doesn't benefit the ranged summoner is not a really good design. So this one need to really think through. But I think in terms of demon wise, I mean, the number seems encouraging, but because it doesn't really have a lot of demons, if I look at the summon DPS, the pet DPS, it is actually quite lacking behind compared to Iceman or even Rocket Raccoon's pet itself. So it could be because there's lack of number of demon. If the command can be increased, that's one option, to have more of this little guy that come out, because you invested so many points in it, 20 points to it, and but you can only bring 3 out, right? And so that could be one of the options that can propel Magic Summoner to be at a higher level. All right. Another thing is that I think the whole vengeful spirit and the even the soul server is not really that well designed for summoner, because the charge kind of gameplay is just not rewarding. It's not even higher than Doom. I have to go, man. Who knows? I may have four Hand of Doom, and so that is one that I would also recommend that. To actually relook into the whole thing, because that could have been a very nice layer, but jailbreak again. See, I practiced what I said, and I sort of like try to, because I don't want to get jailed and then get bombarded by Doombot. Although Doombot is probably one of the least problem right now. So that is the what I would propose to change it. And the range one is really, really, really lacking. I mean, why even bother to have this artificial kind of like buffing of the by summon ally damage, right, kind of thing. I mean, they may as well not to do such thing, right? So I would say that make Spirit Fan as an option for as a basic, as a spender option, to be a spender for the summoner. Now, area as a spender is not new. If you look at Dr. Doom, the Doom Burst is an area damage. If you look at, say, this Iceman, Ice Beam is an area. If you look at Gene, the hammer, the cyclic hammer is also an area. So area as a main spender is not a new concept. It's not a bad concept. All they need to do, if I could hack into the server, punch this number up to at least like 80% to 90% of what the melee can do, either Rending Swing or the Soul Claving, right? So that is something that I would really, really want to see, Magic from, at least these are very basic, right? And I think all you need to do for Gazillion, just like, go to their database, like equip Magic with some of this gear that I'm having, right? A normal, typical summoner gear, and just try the dummy. They can see for themselves how slow it is to kill anything at all. So, with the range summoner build, melee even, but the range is very obvious that things are not working, right? So that is probably the all I would like to talk about Magic. And I think at the end, thank you all for joining this one, and so I listened to it for so long. But I think a lot of you are very excited about Black Cat, and guess what? I'm also very excited about Black Cat. Not just because Black Cat is a female. I do like to play female hero. I think it's something special. To even a video game kind of thing. It's a lot of like male heroes in a lot of video games as a main kind of character. There are not many like female hero out there. Maybe like Tomb Raider. Maybe I don't know, man. There aren't really that many female hero out there. So I just enjoy seeing them being represented in the whole spectrum of video games. So a lot of people ask like, how would Black Cat be? So let's just enter the comment box below and tell me how you think that the Black Cat is going to be like. Play like I feel that she'll probably be, because she's like a thief kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, stealth maybe. I don't know. Maybe also movement. I think she's probably a movement. I mean, her artifact is movement. So I'm very much like I probably think that she's going to be movement. She has a grip and stuff like that. So I don't know. She may have all these things. But I'm not really that familiar with Black Cat. More the Black Cat I observe in this game so far. And yeah, I mean, tell me. I mean, from your experience watching reading the comic book and so on, how would you think Black Hat will be like. I'm very excited to hear as well. So now, thank you very much for watching. I know New Year is around the corner, so as always, it is my tradition to wish you all a very happy holiday, a very happy New Year, and I hope you guys have started writing down the New Year resolution. For me, I have a couple. The first thing on my list is to clear my stash. So because my stash is like a junkyard. Although there aren't junks inside, there's a lot of good stuff inside, but it's like really a lot of like stuff that I should just have gotten rid of. Anyway, nice talking to you all, and thanks so much for tuning in, and see you next time. Bye.